Bute gonna join us shortly. But we're gonna take a little commercial break, then we'll bring on Marlon and we're gonna talk some things, right?
Carnival is coming. But this isn't just about one season. It's about making room. For your family, for your guests, for new income, and new beginnings. At District Stairs SVG, we offer stunning finishes. From luxury vinyl flooring to vanities, railings, tiles, and more. Professional installation, quality guaranteed. And with our trust program and carnival discounts, you can upgrade now, without the bank and without the stress. Visit us in the Russell's Shopping Center at Stony Grounds. Call us at 784-456-7649 today. Visit us today and make room for what matters. District Stairs SVG.
Ladies and gentlemen, man, yeah, so that's the big man, Marlon Bute building business. Yeah, man, he does start something in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Yeah, man, so we're going to be interviewing Marlon shortly. Yes, let me add up. So help me welcome our guest to the studio tonight, Mr. Marlon. You're the owner, president of District Stays, man. Good night, good night.
Good night, good night to all the viewers and the listeners, to Vincy Lime. Colin, you hearing me loud and clear?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, good. I'm trying to set this thing up properly. I don't even know if this song is coming through or if it's...
Yeah, we're hearing you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how you doing, man? Before we start the thing, how life good? Everything good?
Well, I mean, once you breathe in, every day above ground, you have to celebrate life. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So yeah. So before we get into the main things I want to talk to you about, I want to talk some soccer. What do you really think about the performance of Vincy Heat? I know you have your opinion.
Here's what. The performances, the games that Vincy Heat has played in, they played well. They obviously have improved. So in the context of where Vincy Heat was a few months ago, under a year ago, Vincy Heat has come a long way. And like I listened to an interview, a recording of an interview done in Jamaica by our coach. I don't know if one was done in St. Vincent, but I think one should be done in St. Vincent. He said that they've come a long way. They need more games and so on and so forth, because it's by playing more games, there's improvement. But I'm still wondering, why is it that we have a Vincentian Canadian player by the name of Brandon John, who just in October was named in the 11. He was selected in the 11 by CONCACAF for the best 11. He didn't play. He had scored a goal previously. He had assisted. He's a defender, and he did not play. He didn't play any of the games, not even 5 minutes. So I personally, I'm trying to figure out, why is it that this player, who a few months back was in fine form and was in so fine a form that he scored a goal, he's a defender, he assisted in the scoring of a goal, and he was selected, only Vincentian who was selected as having performed so well that he was named the best 11. I'm confounded. I really would like to know, and I think it's a fair enough question.
Okay, Marlon. Somebody say his mom is on the live. So if mommy tell us
But
if he's sick or what, we don't know if he's sick or hurt. I
no,
don't
no, no,
know.
no. Okay.
Right.
So that question is best answered by the coach
No. I want to find
because
out if
I
he's
know he was not sick. I happen to know
okay.
he was
Okay.
not sick. I happen to know that he traveled to St. Vincent. He took time off from his lucrative job here because country calls. He's a patriot, and I mean I am really, really curious. I'm genuinely curious as to why he didn't even get the 2 minutes. And the young man has a lot of experience. He's one of the more experienced players. He's played all over the place in the US, Europe, and so on and so forth. And obviously in Canada. So I mean, and even if those things I just mentioned were not the case, as I said, just in October, he was the only Vincentian selected in the CONCACAF best 11. So I don't know. I don't know what it takes. That's my beef with the whole thing.
All right. I will look in. I will check look into the ask. I go check on
Oh,
something.
what's your thought on that?
I know. And to me that's strange.
It's strange.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
very strange. Yeah, yeah,
yes.
yeah. Okay, if you could make the CONCACAF 11, you should be able to make your national
But
team.
this is it.
Yeah.
And now I wasn't. Let me say this. I was not asked to make any representation or to post or anything of the sort. But once I make certain observations and I figure that something needs answers, it's my nature to, even if you tell me Marlon don't, which some people might have said, I will, uh, I will speak. I will speak because these things really, they concern me. It's a matter of somebody's available and somebody's fit and somebody is has played well in the past. Then I mean, come on, man. Oh, come
Yeah.
on.
All
Huh?
right. So we're gonna leave that there because we have plenty of things to touch. So that's soccer.
All right.
Do you follow basketball? I need to ask you something about basketball.
No, I don't
Okay.
follow.
Okay, you don't have to follow basketball. I need to ask the question, right?
Yes.
Like LeBron James' son make the NBA, right?
Right.
And I see a lot of black people get upset about that. Say, oh, he using his power to get his son in the league. I mean, as a father, I'm thinking that's what you're supposed to do. What is your take on that?
But you answer the question. That's what you're supposed to do. But I say, from a business point of view, I don't think that he would have been selected. Didn't the people who concern about money and so on see it as being something that they could profit from? Where he had to have been at least up to scratch to be selected. You couldn't not be have any skills at all and be selected. So um and forward to another brother.
Well,
Make
yo,
some money.
but the thing is, it though, that's how the game play. We have to understand the game and play the game how the game supposed to be played.
Yeah, make some money, man.
Yeah.
You
But
know.
and then too, his jersey, one of the top selling jersey, he'll make over $50 million for the club already.
Well, this is it. You gotta make some money. So I mean, anything you're doing it honestly to make a dollar. I mean, I you gotta commend people, and in this instance, LeBron is known as someone who gives back to the community and so on. And presumably his son would follow in his footsteps. So that's a positive, I think.
Yeah, that's very good, man. So we have things to touch. We got a lot of stuff to touch, man. So that was our take on that. I saw a big thing went viral. They were saying that the dancehall artists them help up dancehall artists, the younger artists them, and soca artists do not really help the other young soca artists. What your take on that?
Well, I talk about the soca artists. Um, I just got a message saying that I should use my computer instead of the iPad, but I don't have the time to go and
That's okay, man. We see and hearing you. That's okay.
right.
Yeah.
Right. My problem with soca has to do with the departure from the emphasis placed on. So my concern is larger than that which you want to discuss.
Okay.
I think while we have some very talented soca artists and so on, I like um, I like Mason. I think he's a good writer.
Right.
I think he has good melody and that kind of thing. I think he markets himself well. But one of the weaknesses that I find is the lack of proper writing. Um, we no longer hear, like Beckett, Poser use double entendre, right? Two meanings, right? We no longer have a good use of that kind of thing in songwriting and so on, in writing soca. Um, and sometimes a lot of the stuff out there comes across really, really crass, right? So my thing is that we need to teach some of these artists how to write properly. Dancehall, I don't follow as you into the music business. So that's your strength, But I think that where Soca is concerned, where Calypso is concerned, um, you know, a lot of there's the interest is there, but the skills generally, writing skills generally, especially for some of the younger ones. We're not talking about the Kevin Littles. We're not talking about Skinny. We're not talking about Problem. We're not talking about Gritty Beats. There are others out there who need some help. And I think that with the interest that they have, because there's a lot of interest, the creativity that we could help to shape them and mold them to be better writers so that they could come up with, a better product, better offerings.
Yeah. So yeah, one day we get more in depth with that one, but we're just touching some stuff. So I want to get into the meat of the matter now, man. What's your take with America? How they treating Canada? What your take on that, man?
Well, I think just like you and most Canadians, um, we are we were caught off guard because the relationship, even before you and I migrated, for many, many years, extremely close. Whether it's traveling across, whether it's with trade, and so on and so forth, whether it's with security and military and intelligence sharing of information, been very, very close. And I think that the it's a consequence of the new administration, the Trump administration, which at this point um, has shown itself to be unreliable as a friend, as a trading partner, and their their actions have resulted in a great deal of uncertainty in the marketplace. Yeah. As a businessman, for example, I have seen, and this is before, it's just compounded by advent of the Trump administration. Prior we had the issue with high interest rates and so on, and then the Canadian government started lowering those rates. And just when we expected things to start improving, now there's this uncertainty because the tariffs themselves, even if it does not directly affect my sector, it's like you have five fingers. If you lose one, it's difficult to use your hand and to do the things that you used to do. Or like a pack of dominoes, one fall, all falls down. So the economy itself has to be strong for people in your business to do well, people in my business to do well, and so on and so forth. However, it's an opportunity for Canadians to produce more because Canada has vast resources, much more resources than the US, more oil than the US and so on, more land space than the US. There's more capacity to increase production. There's more capacity for population growth, migration and so on, than the US. And the government has recognized that, and they have signaled two things, which are very important. Two simple things. One, increase production, and two, increase the markets. Look for new markets, expand the markets where Canadians could sell their goods and their services. Because Canada and Canadians had come reliant on the easy market, the sure market that Canadian goods and services had in the US. And now we can no longer rely on the US. We have to put in the work, produce more, look for new allies, and so on and so forth. And we've seen that already. We've heard talks along that line. And I think that Canada, based on what I've seen so far, would come out of this okay. I think we would come out stronger, and I think that one of the things that's been said is that oil, for example, invested in more refineries instead of sending most of the oil to the US and then buy back the gas and the refined oil and so on and so forth. We could do a lot of that here, create jobs, grow the economy, and so on and so forth, right? But my concern for the impact of the tariffs has more to do with how St. Vincent and the Grenadines, other Caribbean countries, CARICOM generally responds, because CARICOM is indeed very, very vulnerable, and it's not just the tariffs and so on, immigration, the issue which arose recently of Cuban doctors being in the other countries working and so on and so forth.
Yeah, man, like, we don't go so fast. Don't go fast. We'll touch those stuff after. But get back to Canada. So you think the government handling this, the Canadian government handling this situation well?
I from what I've seen so far, I am pleased with the response, and I think most Canadians are pleased with the response. And that is why, Colin, you saw the double digit lead in the polls that the conservative opposition party had. Because in the polls they were leading by about 20 something points. Based on the Liberal response, starting with Trudeau's response and continuing with the new Prime Minister's response, Carney, we see that has been totally eclipsed. Totally eclipsed. And it certainly looks that if things continue the way they have been playing out, that the Liberals could retain government. And that answer, he asks if I'm happy. Well, certainly Canadians generally seem to be in support. It has ushered in or awakened a kind of patriotism which I had not seen before. I personally, when I go to the supermarket, I make sure that I don't buy any American goods. I buy from Mexico, whether it's fish, Canada, only Canadian goods I'm supporting.
Yeah. That's a good thing, man. But to me personally, I'm kind of surprised the way I thought Canada was gonna fall to America. I really thought that was gonna fall under the pressure, but they really stand up for themselves. I like that.
We.
Yeah, but Vincy, what the
And I mean,
honestly, I don't refer to myself as Canadian. Although I'm a citizen, I always say I'm a Vincy, man.
you hear longer than me, and the point is, you have investments here, so
Yeah.
you could be both. You can be both.
Yeah.
Home is homes. St. Vincent is St. Vincent. The Rock is the Rock.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Mm.
But we here, and this is where we earn in, and so on. So we have to be part of the. This is where we pay a lot of taxes.
Yeah, man.
And how the Canadian government responds could affect the bottom line for you and for me.
100% right.
What if people buy fewer new cars though, and they decide to keep the car for longer period and fix them? It's better for you though.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But so we have things to talk. So we're speaking about investment, right?
Right.
So we know you're a big man for district stairs, man. So tell us something about your company. Yeah, man. We have to get into the meat of the thing now.
But where in St. Vincent?
But just give us a little history about district stairs because some people may not know, but you're the founder, the owner of district stairs. So give us how much location you have, how long you're in business, how things going.
Well, um, District Stairs, as the name suggests, specializes in staircase, whether it's new construction, uh, new constructing new staircases or renovating staircases. Like we renovated your staircase, and it looks brand new,
Yeah,
right?
man. Yeah, everybody
Uh,
love it. Everybody love it.
right, right. New railings, whether it's wood, glass, aluminum. Also, we do lots of flooring, vinyl flooring, engineered hardwood, tiles, and so on. Um, Also, we do renovations. So we're not just an establishment where you could say buy some stair parts or buy tiles and so on and so forth. We also do the work, and we like when customers invite us into their home to do the work. In St. Vincent, it's the setup is pretty similar. Um, this year, August would be 1 year since we've opened a location in the Russell Shopping Center at Stony Brook. There we have baseboards, we have different trims and so on, door casings, window casings. We have flooring which you can pick up because we have stock on the island. Uh, so we have vinyl flooring in different colors, different sizes. We have tiles on the island, ceramic, porcelain, um, marble, also different sizes, 12 by 24, uh, 24 by 48. We have some big slabs also, big porcelain slabs, which is like about 4 feet by 8 feet. We have tin sets and grouts and faucets, light fixtures, and so on and so forth. And we are especially pleased with the fact that we have about 6, 7 different tin sets. And the mission is to be able to provide Vincentians with the, the information where tin sets, especially, are concerned because for many years, Vincentians have been complaining, homeowners have been complaining, business people have been complaining of tiles popping, of spending thousands of dollars putting down tiles, whether it's in the hotel, whether it's in the house, and the tiles pop. A year passes, and so on, and they have to replace them. Now, and that's one of the reasons why we made sure that we got a good selection of thin sets. So that one of the points which we have been making is that every thin set is not the same. So you have thin sets for ceramics, you have thin sets for floor, thin sets for wall and floor. You have thin sets for porcelain tiles, thin sets for the big tiles. And so once we come to accept that, we would start making the right decision. We wouldn't just go, and I'm talking also not just the homeowners, but the tradespeople wouldn't just take up any bag of thin set because it's cheap or because it's priced lower than others, and do the job to save a few dollars, and then the homeowner is left with a headache that's worth thousands of dollars. So we're particularly proud of that and so on. And we just we have a trust program, and that
Wait,
allows.
wait, wait, wait. Before we go to the chess program, so how is the reception to your company in St. Vincent? People,
But the reception is good. I mean, I it's not magic. Everything you got to put in the time. You gotta, it takes time. You gotta train this staff. We introduce new products. So, for example, baseboards. Um, People, 90 something percent of Incendian don't use baseboards. I've seen brand new houses where they put down the tiles or the flooring and there are no baseboards. So that's
wow.
something we've introduced. I know some people make them, out of pine and so on, and they treat them and they paint them or they stain them and so on in St. Vincent. But unlike in Canada, where every single house would have baseboards, in St. Vincent is not the case. So the reason why I said that is that I am aware that it will take time for people to become familiar with some of the products, some of the ways of doing things, and so on and so forth. But generally, the reception has been good. It has been encouraging, and I personally would like to spend more time in St. Vincent because St. Vincent, from what I've seen so far, is right for that kind of thing. It's right. It's very right.
Yeah.
It's almost Boston. You know?
We'll get to that. We'll get to that just now. We'll get to that. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So renovation is a new thing for you because I know you start with the stairs and the flooring. So renovation is something new now.
No, 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 no. Renovations before. So I was a GC before I was doing renovations, basements, and so on, kitchens, bathrooms, full house renovations before district stairs was started,
Oh, okay.
right? But all this thing happened. I was renovating a house in Ajax, late, probably '09 or '08 or something like that. And the homeowner wanted the staircase done. So I hired a contractor to do it. And I had to pay him a lot of money. And he came, he used all my tools to do the staircase. And I looked at him, I asked questions, and I decided, you know what, this is something that I should be doing, right? Because at that time especially, a lot of people weren't doing staircases. You couldn't find a lot of tradespeople were not doing it, you know. So that's how I decided to start doing staircases. I made a lot of mistakes, you know. Any new thing you get into, you're gonna make mistakes and so on and so forth, right? So that's how I started. But I was doing renovations before. So even now, we do renovations. So somebody comes there, they want the staircase done, and then they want the floors done also. Um, they might have a basement to complete, or a kitchen, a bathroom. We do all those things. We still do. And as a matter of fact, when we are chosen, it's better because we don't have to go to Home Depot to buy the tiles, because we sell tiles and we sell quality tiles. We have different suppliers, and we sell different flooring and so on, different vinyl and engineered hardwood and we sell the glass and the stair parts and all those things. So the customer would benefit from dealing with us because uh, they could select from some of the better suppliers, and because we're doing the work, the job, we charge less for the material. If you understand what I mean,
Makes
you
sense. Makes sense.
know, right?
So so tell us how much location you have overall.
Well, we have 4 locations.
I thought it was three. You have a new one?
Huh?
I thought it was three locations you have. So tell us
No,
where
we
they
talk
located.
about. No, we talking about in Saint Vincent and Canada.
Okay, okay. So you have three in Canada, one in St. Vincent?
That's correct.
Okay. So I know the Ajax one. I think you have one in Pickering. Where's the other one?
Offshore.
Oh, you have one in Ashburn now?
Well, it's some work is being done in it. So
Okay, okay. Nice, nice, nice. That's good, man. Nice to see that. Love to see that. Yeah, 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 yeah. So before I want to touch in St. Vincent, but anything else in Canada before we got the business in St. Vincent?
uh,
So the outlook with all this tariff, it's not gonna affect you like in a big way.
well, I mean, these are trying times. These are trying times for um, construction industry. But it was trying before Trump. It was trying when it became more challenging because of the high interest rates. You remember the market was pretty hot, and people were buying houses, everybody was renovating, and so on and so forth. And the government stepped in and put some measures in place to cool down the market. Well, it went beyond cooling it, and it basically froze the market. So that's what happened. And then started flying out when the lower in interest rates and so on and so forth. Um, but at this point, we seeing we are seeing more activity, a lot more interest than let's say a month ago. But I am aware that there are businesses, lots of businesses that closed. Right? I mean, I, I I know someone from Jamaica makes kitchens and so on and so forth, and he had his he had his location. He makes stay parts too, and he closed. Um, a sales rep came to see me yesterday from one of the our suppliers, and he basically was asking if I needed some more display units because another place closed. So they're taking them from there, bring them to me. So I mean, these times have been the most challenging times,
Yes, man.
right? So you know, but you have to hold on. You have to try new things and so on. And the reality is that the uncertainty, not being able to properly forecast, because normally without what's happening south of here, you could say, okay, spring is around the corner. Interest rates are going down. You know, you're gonna do a lot more business in terms of construction because in the winter months it's slower, right? But while, as I said, we can see some an uptake and so on, more people are coming in and that kind of thing. You're doing a lot more quotations and so on. I don't know if this is gonna hold out for the next month, the next 2 months, and so on and so forth. And uncertainty is not it's not good.
I know for business, man, it's real hard. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, man. So we just have to just hold the faith and see what gonna happen. So
Well, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So like
Well, this is one
closing.
of the things. This is one of the things. Well, I think we signed on for this,
No, no,
right?
no. You sign up for the. I didn't sign up for all the stress, man.
Well, I mean, so I mean,
I know, man. I just play with you, man.
I
Yeah,
you can
man.
I have no regrets because I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We just roll
Nine
with
to
it.
five, 9 to 5. That's
Nah, I
a
can't.
that's
I
an
can't do nine
ordinary
to five.
that's an ordinary existence.
What
Eh?
the coach just say? What the coach just say? Well, we made for greatness.
That's right. We were
Right.
not meant to be. We were not meant to be ordinary. We were meant to be extraordinary,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
right?
Mm.
Like I was talking to someone, and I was saying, I was lamenting the fact that the Caribbean imports a whole set of food from the
Right.
US. According to some stats, it's up to like 90%, 90 plus, 92%. Some put it at 80%. And he was saying, it will take time, years for us to. And my reply was, things change the day we decide to do something about it,
Facts.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because and this is one thing which you probably gonna talk about, which concerns me, is that we in the Caribbean have not treated the American departure from what we've come used to, or what we came used to over the years, with any kind of urgency, right? Um, it seems to be business as usual.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
why do you hear the Canadians and the French and the British when they talk they're talking about producing more, forming new alliances? We're not doing a similar thing. I'm not hearing it.
I know.
And for me that's a big problem.
Yeah, we'll touch them all. We'll touch them all. Let me finish with next with your company first. Then we're gonna touch all them thing in depth, man. So I see you have a new ad. So it's, with the finance and stuff, somebody come to your business, they don't have all the money. How that work out?
Well, it's a trust program. So
Right.
it's based on trust. No management fees, no finance fees, no interest. We are not a finance company.
Right.
We are a construction retail construction company that is willing on a case by case basis to extend our services um, on a quote unquote trust basis. So if Colin has a room or he wants an addition, because Colin figures, you know what? I could make some money with this if I fix this room up. I'm gonna add a bathroom onto it, Um, put some new floors in, paint it, that kind of thing. Or Colin wants to do an addition because he figures he could, St. Vincent need more rooms, more hotel rooms. And that's why Airbnb popping up in St. Vincent and they're doing well by all reports. So you want something like that. Or you simply just want to fix your house. You want new floors, new countertops, new kitchen, you come to us, we have a conversation. You only have a few $1,000, but you want this thing done. We say, okay, we give the quotation. We tell you the amount that's required to deposit for us to start. The job is done. You pay over a period of time until the outstanding balance is paid off. Right? You pretty simple.
That's good though. That's better than the bank because no interest, right?
Well, I mean, and then maybe you are in an industry where the bank generally don't want to even lend you. Maybe
Right.
you're doing farming, or you in fishing, construction, or maybe you simply don't want to deal with the bank. Maybe you're a teacher, a police officer, a nurse, a doctor, a lawyer, and you don't want to deal with the bank. So you come to district stairs, we have a conversation, and we get the ball rolling and so on and so forth. Easy payments over a period of time, and so on and so forth.
So okay, I know you say homeowners and stuff. What about a contractor? A contractor have a project to do, and he will come to you say, okay, I need some material. I do this project. You guys work with contractors too?
Yeah, and we work with contractors, and contractors have special discounts and so on and so forth, right? So, for example, a contractor might need tiles, tin sets, you know, the price that the regular customer would pay, the contractor will pay, because the idea is to have ongoing relationship with people in the industry, contractors, architects, designers, engineers, and so on and so forth. That's carpenters, tradespeople generally. So that's the idea, that we work together, um, to make things easier for those of us who directly involved in the industry.
Yeah, that's a great idea, man. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So you're saying Simmons is ripe till it bursting. So get some. Okay, we talk about migration now. A lot of people getting deported, and a lot of people gonna go back home to live, right?
Yeah.
So how you see how that gonna work out? You see there's anything in place? You see opportunities down there for people could step into?
St. Vincent.
Yeah, and in general, like the Caribbean, they could have us the Caribbean too. Like
Now, we import. Let's look at this for St. Vincent. St. Vincent is not alone.
right,
The whole Caribbean is in the same boat.
right.
More than $30 million a year in poultry parts. St. Vincent.
Say that again. Say the number again.
We import more than 30 million.
In chicken.
Yes.
Wow.
And I have to double check the precise figures, but more than 20 years ago, we were importing about $20 million a year in poultry. How long does it take for a meat bird to be ready for the table? It's 6 weeks, six,
6
7
weeks.
weeks. Yeah. Yet, with the obvious market for chicken, with the available lands, all the available lands we have, with a feed mill right outside the capital, ECGC, with good source of water, good electricity, with a trainable labor force, we still import. So that's an opportunity. We import carrots. We import cucumbers. We import lettuce. Most of what we consume, we import. And this is not just in Vincent, this is the entire Caribbean.
Right.
Cereals. How hard is it to make cornflakes? As a matter of fact, farine is healthier uh, uh, than some of the cereals we consume. So, indeed, not just in agriculture, also in agro-processing. The Caribbean has, St. Vincent, there's a lot of opportunities for that kind of thing. And I would encourage anybody who, to invest in St. Vincent. Because I said
Right.
St. Vincent is right. St. Vincent is, Vincentians consume a lot. 100,000 people, how many supermarkets we have? In Kingston alone, you can check about 6.
Right.
You have 2 Bonadies, Graves, 2 Massey's. You have Randy's. You have Peppercorn, that's 7 already. Right, so I mean, I think agriculture, agro-processing, I think that could be very fruitful.
But Marlon, I find the younger kids they don't like agriculture, man.
Well, you see, this is where we have to begin in the classroom.
Right.
Teach them about the value of hard work, of economic enterprise, wealth creation. There's a lot of money in agriculture. It's and we have to do that kind of education to rid them and expose them early of the notion that something is wrong with farming.
Because
It's
I still think people look down on farmers and think that's
well,
beneath them,
they look down on
trades in general.
trades too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They look down on trades too. You know, they look down on trades too, and we out here, and we know that when you go to No Frills supermarket or Food Basic supermarket or Longbows, wherever you go, supermarket, and you see someone with the cart, pushing the cart with groceries, can you tell if that person is a mechanic, a laborer, a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, a factory worker, or a farmer, could you tell the difference by looking at their cats? Colin?
No, no.
Huh?
Like you see the difference up here, right? We
No,
people,
wait.
yeah.
The question, can you tell the difference by looking at the cat of somebody that what they have in there?
No, no.
You
I don't
can't.
think so.
You
Right.
can't. So that's the point. So whether you are in these parts, whether you are a carpenter, teacher, whatever, um, you can put food on the table. Because we don't have the same sort of attitudes towards the trades as we do in St. Vincent. And consequently, tradespeople in Canada are better paid. You know, in the unions, I was in a union, local 183, where I had dental um, allowance, benefits, optical, and so on, and vacation. I mean, it's shoes allowance and so on and so forth. The point is, we could put in the work in St. Vincent to transform how we look at the trades and farming and so on. We could do it. It's easy, but we have to have the will. We have to start in the schools. And it brings me back to the point which I've been making, and that is, I haven't heard a word from CARICOM. I haven't heard them say they would huddle together to discuss the way forward, to discuss how we become less dependent on chicken back and wing and necks out of the US. And even pork is being imported into St. Vincent. And we have pig farmers all over St. Vincent. My father is a pig farmer. And when you on the highway here and you see these trucks, these trailer trucks pass with the pigs. Oh, these pigs big like cows.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, man.
Big like cows. And, yeah, yeah. I mean, those are what our farmers, those are being exported the meat, those to St. Vincent. I mean, so I don't know. So I really don't know. I mean, it's just the silence is deafening.
Yeah. So
I'm waiting to hear, well, we're going to invest 20 million or 10 million, something. I'm waiting to hear some new policy of how to cut down imports, increase local production, from CARICOM,
yeah. But
from the
Marlon,
CARICOM community, from I haven't heard anything. And
uh,
for me, it's really disheartening to see the urgency in these parts, Europe meeting regularly, and with Canada also. Are we not seeing a similar urgency in the region, which is far more vulnerable, which is among the most vulnerable regions in the world, the Caribbean, in every regard. In every regard.
But this is an opportunity that for the Caribbean to come together now and start doing more trading between each other now. You don't think so?
Well, this is the point. This is the point. We have to do intra-island trades. Um, we haven't heard about that. We heard the Canadian government talking about facilitating freer trade among the provinces. Because
Yeah,
for
that's a big
listeners,
thing.
right? Because so the listeners might not know some of them, that Canada is divided into provinces, right? And then there were restrictions, trading province to province. So they want to lift those restrictions so it can flow freely. So similarly, the Caribbean should be talking about even facilitating free trade. We have free trade. CARICOM and OECS. But we need to have something to to, 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 to trade among each other. And importantly is the issue of transportation.
Yeah, I just want to touch that. You don't think it's too expensive to go from island to island?
Well, we don't even know what we're working with as yet. I mean, if we if we the amount of food that we import into the region, the amount of supplies, whether it's even building supplies too, we import into the region. Um, I suppose that if we manufactured some of those, produce some of those, it can cost less. Transportation costs less from shipping tomatoes and vegetables, carrots and cucumbers from St. Vincent to Grenada. I mean, it costs less than it's coming from the US. Transportation costs, shorter distances, you know, less insurance costs, less fuel costs. I mean, it costs less.
I know.
Before, we had more robust trade before among the islands. A lot of trafficking and so on going on, right? Used to be going on. Trinidad, Barbados, Grenada, St. Martin, and so forth.
Yeah, yeah. But when Stan is saying if we can if we can unite in our own islands, how come we have like a Caribbean in the
If we
region?
can't,
We unite in the islands them now, respectively work together say like in St. Vincent, St. Lucia, they work together as one island. How could you expect the other islands to come together and work as one?
I, listen, I, I think that if anything, recent developments should indicate to us that we have to do things differently, right? And it's not reinventing the wheel. Because I remember in my time in Lomans Hill, as a boy, every yard, every yard had some sort of crop, had some sort of livestock, right? People supplemented their income by rearing some chickens, having a couple goats, having a cow or two, planting sweet potatoes, and the consumption and then excess sold. Because I always knew my father, for example, whether he was in the wherever he was working, whether he was in the police or public health or wherever he always has had was still involved in farming. Similarly, most of the families in Lomans Hill. That's just how it was. So getting back to the to basics by government, by policy, by um, government making investments in it, by giving the technical help and so on and so forth. I think it's easy, but we have to decide we want to do it. And as I was telling, first I was talking to earlier, things change the minute we say, look, this is what we're gonna do, right? Things change the minute we say, this is what we're gonna do.
Yep. Um, Something really concerned me, right, with Trump them. You know they're saying that they don't want people to send money back home. How you think they're gonna affect the Caribbean, like the immigrants,
They don't want people what?
immigrants like if you have no paper in America, in Florida, they're gonna ban you. They're gonna call if you go to Western Union, one of those places, they're gonna call ICE on you and lock you up. So yeah, man, they don't want you sending nobody back home.
But this is one of the things. And all of this is reason why we need to become more self-sufficient. Man must eat. You can't go wrong by investing in that regard, you know. Man must eat. You can't go wrong. And of course, you do the tourism as we've been doing because, you know, tourists should always, whether it's the Canadian, Europe, Americans, and so forth. But we could make ourselves much less vulnerable by cutting the imports, and it's healthier choices too. Because when you could go up Lomans Hill or down Camden Park or Georgetown by Farmer Brown or Farmer Bute, and you see it's pigs and you know what I mean. You because we have the inspectors and so forth, and we have the people, the vets in the Ministry of Agriculture and that kind of thing, and they do their work. We don't know anything about the quality of pork that coming from some of these farms in the US. And we can't we shouldn't think that the checks and balances that they put in place when the product is to be consumed in Canada or in the US, that they're going to do the same when it's being exported. It's a different market. It's a different market, right? So that this particular subject about investments in agriculture and fisheries and these sort of things. These conversations are very important, and it's the leadership. It so happened that the Caribbean region and all these Caribbean islands since independence, most of them have had lawyers and politicians and those sort of, they haven't had the benefit by and large of people who actually have a history of producing, right? And I think that I really think that's one of the problems. One of the problems is that in the Caribbean, I think one of the challenges is we have the intellectual, you know, hypothesize and theorize and the write and the talk,
So
you
you
know.
say more talking and action.
You just said
So come back to what we was talking about sending money back home. Winston was saying it's easier, you just get somebody who's legal in
no,
America.
somebody can then thief your money.
But I'm not gonna say
But,
that cause that cause
but
problems, no?
it cause problem, but not just that. If it is a crime, if the government says, look, you, Marlon, because you don't have any papers, you can't use your services. And I go to you and say, Colin, send that. You Colin, are involving yourself in criminal activity because you're helping me to break the law.
I didn't think I didn't look at it that way.
But that is right, but that's what it is. I have my money, which in the first place I got under the table, right? I'm not supposed to send it to St. Vincent, and I find somebody to send it for me. That's breaking the law. And then what's going to happen is that you might end up having to, because the system is things evolve, and then you would have to declare where this money came from.
At the end of the year, they may want to put on your taxes, right?
But all of this too, where did Colin get this money? And then it's not a million and 2 million and 3 and 4 and 10 million we send. We sent, I think last year, based on the it was, I think it was like about 60 million US dollars in remittances.
Wait, how much? 16?
60,
60 million?
100, yeah, 100 something million EC dollars.
Wow.
So, you know how much money, how much, you know how much money that is to send and to find and to, that's.
Wow, that's crazy. That's a lot of
Right,
money,
so I mean,
man.
so I mean, so that's problematic. So we have to, as a region, have a lot of work to do to create the conditions once and for all to keep our people in the Caribbean, to encourage others to return, so we become less reliant, so that our people are not forced to leave the land of their birth to go and toil elsewhere, because the leadership in the region has not, in spite of all the limitations we have, hasn't done enough to reduce that necessity to leave. I mean, people talk about, just like Winston said that he used to giving somebody money to, we can do follow the person by Western Union.
well,
Or wait
and the next,
outside. Eh?
this is the thing too, right?
You can, money that's people take it. We can do so the person might just decide to spend the money. We can do. Eh?
You can't call the police.
But this is it. This is it. And some people will do that.
Yeah, they'll take
Because
advantage.
the reality is that we have some crooked people out there. And we have some people who might convince themselves that they're going to send it next week, right? And then I'm spreading it, and they can't find it back to send it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right? So, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. It's really tough.
Yeah, yeah. But then too back home, right? That will be a big hit on your family and plus the economy too, right?
Well, because so many Vincentians rely on that. They rely on the money they send back for friends, for family. Some of these same Vincentians actually send money to buy land, to pay for their loans, to build and so on. You know, um, and it's not just money; it's barrels and all sort of stuff too. And so it is harder for them to send money. It is harder for them to find jobs because generally the U.S. has been stepping down on immigration, undocumented workers, and so on. People are gonna be people scared. People are scared. People are scared. The people who have green card, who have the permanent residence, who landed in the US, they're scared. They're scared that they might say something or they might be picked up and just they're scared. So I mean, and if you're scared, if you're not in a place where you can go about and look for work or where you have to be walking home and you wondering, that's not it's not a way to live, and certainly you can't prosper under those sort of uh, conditions.
I know it's tough, man.
Yeah, it's tough, and I could imagine how some of our brothers and sisters um, who are yet to regularize their status, you know, how they feel,
I
and
know.
and these are just like you and I, just people who want to do better, just who have some ambition, right? Committing no crime, good
Right.
decent people. That's it, and that is why it upsets me that you have people in the U.S., some black people like you and me, some who came out of St. Vincent, some from Grenada, some from other parts of the Caribbean, and they actually support this kind of thing. They support it, they celebrate it. Truly, they have forgotten from whence they came. And then some of these same people want to influence us, you know, and so on. And they help to create this veritable mess that, that we see in
I
veritable
know.
mess.
Yeah, man.
Things like diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is simply sought, as it says, to ensure that there was diversity in the workplace, equity, and inclusion. And all these things have been rolled back, and some of the same people who we know support these sort of things. I mean, there's a lot of work, a lot of work, a lot of work we have to do.
Right. And I hope we get I hope we get together. I hope this force us to work together as a region and make it life easier for our people them back home, man.
Well, well, I mean, I think our leaders mean well, right?
Right.
Um, I think though that it has become it became easy to say import.
Right.
Take the doctors for example, the Cuban doctors.
Yeah. Okay. You're gonna go there. Let me go there then. Let me go there. I wanna hear your take on this.
Okay, naturally, Cuba is a sister country, Caribbean country,
Right.
and any cooperation between Caribbean countries and between countries generally, and especially in health, in education, whether it's trade, it's good. You want to encourage that. And therefore, I have no issue with the presence of Cubans. These are our, as I said, our brothers and sisters. No problem in St. Vincent or Grenada or wherever.
But Marlon,
However,
Marlon,
yeah,
wait. But I think America, the problem America having with that program, right? I think I saw something. Somebody was saying like 70% of the money goes back to the Cuban government and not to not from to the workers. I think that's where the issue come in, no?
yes, that's. I don't know where the U.S. got that information from. That about the
Percentage,
percentage,
right?
or if it's true. As far as I know, our Prime Minister, which is Prime Minister Gonzalez, has said that the Cuban doctors, the nurses, they paid same wages as Vincentians are paid. In any event, my duty as as a Vincentian, first and foremost, is to my country, right? My allegiance, my and I can't prosecute our government. I can't prosecute Caribbean government. I will not be party to building a case or to even suggesting that as the US State Department has said, that it's human trafficking. If they could build that case all by themselves if they want to build that case. What I could say is that just like Barbados has been able over the years to come to a point where it has doctors in diverse areas and so on, different specialties. So much so that you can go to Barbados from one of the other islands if you want, top-notch treatment. It's more advanced than the other islands. I think we should be looking to Barbados to their example. And ensure that we train the Vincentians in different specialties. We don't have to it's good to have the relationships with our Cubans and brothers and sisters. But it is even better if we could have all the different specialties. Because we have the much touted education revolution. And part of this education revolution should have been and should be to ensure that needs as far as the healthcare is concerned are met by Vincentians, trained Vincentians, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So that is my just like the dependency on the US for food, we have the dependency on the Cubans to a large extent for medical assistance. And I must emphasize not just St. Vincent, and this is why my approach has been to talk about CARICOM, because Jamaica, Grenada, most of these islands, and each island has its own strengths and so forth. And I really think that as a grouping is a whole lot we could do to improve the conditions, make life much easier for Caribbean man, woman, and child.
Yep. But Marlon, Canada have a lot of foreign students, right? So I do a lot of business with a lot of foreign students. And then the surprising thing that a lot of kids come here because and then go back to their country because their community have a need. They go find a kid who interested in that field. They raise the money, send the kid out here, get the education. They go back to their community and they help the community. So I think we need to start adapt some stuff like that so we don't have to rely on so much outside help.
Yeah, so that's what we need, but we need to start somewhere because home is nice.
Paradise, man.
Home is nice. The sun, you feel that sun on your back, but the sun feels real. You know, home is nice. It's good being home. It's always nice, and um, we forget sometimes, right? And we could in St. Vincent, like in Grenada and St. Lucia and Barbados, the kind of what we do out here, we could do there.
Yep.
Look, someone, just a side, just a point. I was listening to something the other day, radio. Someone called it, and someone was making the point that we St. Vincent got money, they claim, to build an abattoir, and it wasn't done. And the person was making the point that with the abattoir, every Vincent, every household could have a couple of sheep, a couple of goats, and take them there and kill them and send them to Europe. Because as he continued, as he elaborated, because he said, well, it's cold. They got long winter months in those countries, so they will need our meats. Well, there's a lot of problems with that. Because, one, the quality. Two, the quantity, but more importantly, Europe is self-sufficient in pork, over 100% self-sufficiency, chicken, beef. Canada the same thing. So the winter months, 3-4 months of winter, have not really, as you know, Colin, things still move. Things still move. You know? So we have so I think Europeans and Canadians and countries that have these different weather patterns, winter and so on, have made good use of the months and still produce optimally. Right? So while there's a need for an abattoir, it's more so to local consumption, slaughter in hygienic conditions, local consumption, right? And because you will never be able to, that's not going to happen.
Right.
Simply because it's not needed. Canada is like 150% sufficient in pork.
Right. But Marlon, there's a question for you. Winston is asking you, right? If you know where the cattle we sent to Grenada, where they end up.
So I don't know where they end up, but I guess I guess they end up on somebody's table.
It's all
Yeah.
Oh
I
God.
I guess they end up on somebody's table.
I
But
know.
I figure a lot of them would have stayed in Grenada and so on.
All right.
Slaughter for the Grenadian market and so forth.
Wednesday we're gonna look into that. We're gonna look into that. But Marlon, the time is running. But before I have one more question before we go. But anything to wrap up? Anything you wanna say to wrap up this segment before we?
Before we go to the next segment.
No, I have one more question because the time running. Time running. Time
Oh
running.
wow, it's been 12.
Yeah.
Okay. So just to reiterate that there's a lot that we could do as a people, as a region, to the to depart from what we've been doing for the past 40, 50 years as a region. I myself I was shocked when I saw the stats. You know, I didn't know it was so high. Like fruits, vegetables from North America. We have. I drove down to Richmond last time I was in St. Vincent. And so much lands idle, green, fertile, valleys and hilltops and so on, lands upon lands. The land is there, and we're not doing anything. So, I would like to see investments in agriculture, in fisheries, in agro-processing, in skills training, you know, carpentry, masonry, HVAC, welding, all those sort of things, so that we, as a region, we become more productive. You know, because that's how you create wealth. When you actually, produce produce something, Colin.
Yes, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so that for me, I personally think they have to work on the airfare. It's too high. We need to have a better way of moving around the Caribbean, a cheaper way. I think that will help a lot, man. So that's one thing I really want to see improve in the Caribbean.
That would help, but let's go back to basics. Once we start producing and working, cutting imports, and that sort of thing, more money at our disposal. We could easier to travel, you know,
Yeah,
among
yeah,
the islands. Each island has something unique, and I mean, I just think it's an opportunity for us. Same way Canada, Europe have been looking to and have been speaking and have committed money, you know, already to the more that we could do it. We have to do it. I think it's absolutely necessary. I think that's a conversation that we must have.
yep,
And I would like to see parties in St. Vincent, ULP, and the NDP say how they intend to cut imports um, and attain sufficiency or food sovereignty or near food sovereignty. I mean, that's what I would like to see from both.
right. So before we go, I need to touch a topic, but I want a white your idea. What you think about this program, right? Can we keep hearing about CBI? Do you think it's a good program? I don't want to know like which country do it. I just want to know what the program itself. What you think about the program itself? That's what I want to find out.
It's a good program. Colin,
Yeah.
though, that same program, I think it was Grenada, one of those countries. They made $1 billion
I think it's
in a year.
1.5. I think it's
Huh?
1.5. I think it's 1.5 they make. Yeah.
Billion
Yeah.
in a year.
Yeah.
1 year. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for the farmers, fishers. A lot of money for district stairs. Yeah. I mean, the point is, if you have that program and you have that kind of injection of money in any country, it's circulating. Lawyers making some, huh? Doctors making some, the banks making more money. I mean, I can't, how could I say it's not a good program when it's in Grenada, St. Lucia, Dominica, Antigua, St. Kitts, if they have it, and they've had it in St. Kitts' case. St. Kitts had it since in the 80s. So, I mean, that revenue from the CBI program helps to sustain the OECS, the dollar, right?
Yeah. But
And
Marlon, you don't think America is hypocrites because I think Trump announced he's gonna do one for $5 million for a passport.
Yeah, that's what they said. That's what they said, and that goes to show. That goes to show. I mean, I listen. As far as I'm concerned, if I think I don't see anything innately immoral about it. It's legal. The other countries have it. These are our brothers and sister islands and so on. They have done well from it, and I think one of the arguments that is out there is that it's not sustainable. Um, but is it profitable? If it's profitable, then the money from that you put into areas which you consider to be more sustainable. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
I see, make your money in it and then you put it somewhere else and so on, you know, and so forth. I don't think that, I mean, I don't think that a thing has to be necessarily sustainable if it's profitable and if you could wisely invest the profits into an area which is more sustainable. Or you could, when you invest in hospital, you put it in hospital or schools, scholarships, in agriculture, in vessels for fishers, in roads. I mean, we, we only have to look to the example of the other islands to see whether it's good or not.
Right.
What do you think?
Me personally, yo, money without interest is always good money, man. That's
See that?
like,
All good money.
yeah, like for me, that's just do your research and you just you work on what you have to work on and get it done, man. That's me. I don't know, but yeah, man. Marlon, it was a pleasure having you on Vincy Live, man. I wish you had more time,
Yeah, and spread the word, family, friends. If you have that room that you want to fix up, or you want that addition, or you want some new floors and your kitchen, your bathroom, or you want your walls painted and so on, talk to us at District Stairs. You don't have to have all the money because we are willing to trust you. We're willing to trust you so that you could add value to your property, add value to your home. Okay? Flooring, whether it's vinyl, um, laminate, waterproof, um, porcelain tiles, ceramic tiles, faucets, light fixtures, beautiful stuff. Because I have been exposed to beautiful finishings, and beautiful workmanship in the Canadian market, the North American market, and that same kind of quality and better that we are intent on delivering to Vincentians. Check us
Yes.
out.
Yeah, man. Check out Dexter's. Go support the man, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gonna run the ad again. We run the ad again and push the thing for you.
Keep it up, man. How many years you doing this now?
I have no man. Since COVID, we doing it.
Let's go in.
Yeah, a couple years now we doing it, man.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, yeah,
Got it.
yeah, man. It's a pleasure having you, and all the best in your business, man.
I working on a bad soca. Eh?
Oh, you gonna sing it? Or you writing it?
Well, sing man, I mean, that I sang in Barbados. Of course, I sang in St. Vincent. I sang in Trinidad. You don't know all of that, man?
No, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I left long time, you know. I left service
Oh,
long time.
that was when I was at UE. At university.
Mm.
Yeah. So I'm working on something. So maybe you'll have me back when I'm ready to bust it here.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Come true, man. You come in the studio. You come in the studio.
Yeah. I live we live like 5-7 minutes apart.
Yeah,
Right.
come in the studio.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on, live in this. I started in it. Just come in the studio. We live, man. We live in the
Yeah,
studio.
good. Sounds good. Yeah.
So big up Dexter Stays one time. Thanks again, my brother.
All right, man. No
Yeah,
problem.
appreciate you, man.
All right.
All right, blessings. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Beautiful Vincy, I met in a party. She was looking irie, so I start to chat she.
It's nice to see somebody you grew up with, man. Doing some big things, man. So big up Marlon one time. Hope you guys enjoy the conversation, man.